Okay, thanks to TA and congratulations, Brian. That was spectacular. How's everybody doing tonight? Super Jim, how you doing back there? What are those, the $5 seats? Oh, free? $2? Okay. Okay, well, let's carry this amazing show on here. Josh, everything good back there? Excellent. Okay, up next. Are you guys ready for this? We are going to honor and recognize a true pioneer. Hey, Grasso's table. Keep it down over there. This is serious. That's right. We are going to recognize a true pioneer, a sportsman, a competitor, an organizer, a surfer, and a legendary pioneer slalom and downhill skateboard racer. Not only did he win more races than anyone in the 1970s, hey, I need you to listen up right now. This is very serious. This man was also one of the first pros to have both a signature wheel, the Henery Hester Road Rider wheel, and a pro model skateboard at the same time, the Henery Hester GNS Cutaway Slalom Deck. A true pioneer, a visionary, a fierce competitor, and solid gentleman are some of the best words that describe Mr. Henery Hester. If all that wasn't enough, in 1978, when Henery saw that there should and could be a professional pool and bull riding competition, he created the Hester Series. Suck it, Olson. Opening the door for not only some of the greatest skateboarders to duel and debut their talents, but also expand skateboarding's direction and maneuvers, attitudes, music, apparel, deck and wheel design. Everyone in this room tonight owes a huge thank you to this great man. Henery Hester. Give it up for Henery Hester. Now, to induct Henery Hester into the Skateboarding Hall of Fame, please help me welcome to the stage another solid guy, a guy who started skateboarding in the 60s. He skated across America more than twice. He's the founder and publisher of the Skateboarders Journal. He's the founder of the Morro Bay Skateboard Museum, a longtime racer. He placed second at the Signal Hill in the skate car division in 1978, and after 40 years of trying to beat Henery in a race, he has not done so. Please welcome Jack Smith to the stage. Hey, buddy. Rough crowd, huh? You ready?
First thing I'd like to say is it's about damn time they got a skateboard racer in the Hall of Fame. It's an honor to be Henery Hester's presenter this evening. Henery was one of my first skateboard heroes. He's also someone who personifies the exceptionalism found in skateboarding. Henery is one of those people that you just can't help but like. Let me give you an example. In 1977, I watched Henery race his White Lightning skate car at Signal Hill. No one ran cleaner than he did that day. When I decided to enter the 78 race, I knew I wanted my skate car to have the same setup as Henery's. Now, this was decades before the internet. I couldn't shoot him a Facebook message. So somehow I was able to get his phone number. And I remember being very nervous, like I am tonight. That was when I was calling him, I was very nervous. I was just some wannabe from a town he'd probably never heard of. Well, Henery ended up spending a half hour with me that night on the phone telling me everything I needed to know about skate car design. His advice probably kept me from serious injury or death. So flash forward to the 1978 Signal Hill race, the first time I actually met Henery in person. I ended up giving Henery an extra set of wheels, which he then beat me on. I wasn't the first or last person that Henery would beat on loaned wheels. Turns out he was known for borrowing wheels and then smoking the lender. I'm sure that every person that Henery beat on borrowed wheels still loves and respects him to this day. I know I do. Now I'd like to share a bit of Henry's skateboard history with you. He grew up in La Jolla and began skateboarding on steel wheels in 1959. By 1964, he had graduated to clay wheels and was riding for the Ritzy Skateboard Club with his buddies George Taylor and Pete Filan. Henry's first love, though, was surfing. In fact, he was president of the prestigious Wind and Sea Surf Club Junior Division at age 18 in 1969. His surfing skills were soon put to good use when urethane wheels lit the fuse for modern skateboarding. In the mid-1970s, Henry gravitated towards slalom racing. The mecca of slalom skateboarding was La Costa, just up the road from his house. Pool skating had Dogtown, and slalom had La Costa. Every Sunday there were races. It was a who's who of slalom racing. Bobby Piercy, Bob Skolberg, Mike Williams were just a few of the greats who threw down on those smooth asphalt hills. Not only were Henry and the La Costa boys pushing themselves to go faster, they were developing modern slalom equipment that would carry over into other aspects of skateboarding. Henry won so many races during that time, some called him the king of La Costa. Most just called him Bad H. As Dave said, in 1975, Henry became one of the first skaters to have a signature model board, the GNS Henry Hester Slalom Deck. The 1976 Hang 10 World Skateboarding Championships were held at the then brand new Carlsbad Skate Park and broadcast on ABC Wide World of Sports. Henry scored a dramatic come from behind victory over the great Tony Alva to become the 1976 World Slalom Champion. Later that year, as Dave said, Road Rider introduced the Henry Hester Slalom Wheel. Then in 1977, Henry left GNS to skate for Santa Cruz, which soon released the Henry Hester H-Bomb Slalom Deck. I'm sure all of you saw Henry's skate car out in the lobby, and I can tell you from personal experience, skate cars are scary. Head first at almost 60 miles an hour is just plain nuts. In 1977, Henry tied for first place with Dave Dilberg at the Signal Hill Speed Run with a speed of 57 miles an hour. Later that year, Henry became the back-to-back World Slalom Champion by winning the Freeformer World Championships at Derby Downs in Akron, Ohio, seen by an audience of over 13 million people on CBS Sports Spectacular. At the 1978 Signal Hill race, Henry placed second with a speed of 59 miles an hour. I placed third. Henry beat me on my wheels. With racing fading and vert skating coming to the forefront of skateboarding, Henry changed course and created the first bull riding contest series, the Hester ISA Pro Bowl Series. This series changed the direction of skateboarding competitions forever and set the stage for the events you see today, events such as the Vans Pool Party and the X Games. Henry had a long career in the skateboarding and snowboarding industries, including stints as the general manager of GNS Skateboards and Snowboards. He was a sales manager at LibTech Snowboards, and he was with Rusty for quite a few years as their general manager. In the early 2000s, Bad H returned to slalom, first as an announcer, and then at the urging of some of the racers, he began competing again. Racers who had only seen Henry in the magazines during their youth were now racing with him and listening to his words of wisdom. It was sort of like getting baseball advice from Babe Ruth. A true champion continues to give back to the sport, and Henry has been doing that for 40 years. Please join me in welcoming Henry Hester into the Skateboarding Hall of Fame.
Unbelievable, great speech.
Purple Haze.
Thank you, Jack, and thank you to the Skateboard Hall of Fame, Josh, Laura, all the people that I've worked with and coming up to this event. As you know, Jack has led an exceptional career in skateboarding himself. Most of what he's done has paralleled my career. I think back to the early slalom years. I think to the skate car years where he ran neck and neck with the White Lightning out there. In fact, in the second year at Signal Hill, we actually tied for second place, and it was 59.27 miles an hour. We got beat by Roger Williams. He was at 59.8 or something like that, but we were at 59.27 to the hundreds, tied. He ran a big contest that I ran in that I put on in La Costa called the La Costa Open, and I went on to run numerous world championship events, and yes, I borrowed a few wheels from him. So many thanks go to Jack on all accounts. Look, no one stands up here alone. A lot of people have contributed to my success, and one is Di Dutzen. Where are you? She needs to get a shout out. In the early years, she was everywhere with the National Skateboard Review, and her work and behind the scenes, from the Hester series to the La Costa races, week in and week out, doing tabulations, running the stopwatch, doing all that stuff. You know, I could see her winning an Icon Award herself for one, the National Skateboard Review and all the work she's done in the industry. Norski. Hi. Now I want to thank my sponsors for free gear and sponsorships lasting well beyond my competitive years. And Bob Skolberg, he's not here tonight. He had a date with Tiger Woods. And yeah, no, he's out in Las Vegas. His son got him hooked up in his son got him hooked up into a Tiger Williams challenge and couldn't get out of it. You know, there's too many to list here, and what I really want to do is get on with what I've got to say. And I got some stuff to say about some skaters here. Jack had brought up exceptionalism, and I wanted to kind of expand on that. As skaters, we are in a unique position in the world. No other sport demands such creative thinking, yet is so misunderstood by the masses. We get it, but the masses don't get it. We are unique, and we are exceptional. And with that in mind, I want to take kind of a crooked look at this whole thing from a grander scale, a more universal view from the outside looking in, and what I'm about to say is all true. 20 years ago, NASA started finding shadows of planets light years away. One planet stood out 100 times our size, a mere 150 million light years away. It was scientifically named XR3452-03, and the 03 signifies that it's the third planet from their sun, much like we are. They nicknamed it Planet X. Dwayne, you've been there, right? That's the one you did the demo and the punk show in '83. Anyway, so a highly intelligent yet somewhat uncreative civilization has existed there for a long time. You with me here? About 1 million years. Recently, about 50,000 years ago, they started getting bored and they created this ocular magnification technique and allowed them to look at all the other planets in real time. They could look down and watch us like they do right now. Remember, this is all true. It was their high-tech window to creativity. Much like we watch TV, they watch us, okay? And trust me, when they had this technique, they went looking, and you know what? They found us. And what I mean by that is that they found skateboarding, and they loved us. They copied our every move and actually became better than us, better than anyone in the universe, right? So their skating isn't all they're good at, and I'll get to that. But they're the most technologically advanced planet in the universe, again, observing so much from other planets. They've cured cancer and all the other diseases that we're plagued with. However, as much as they try, they can't save lives. But you know what? With a little help, we can do that. We can save lives here on earth. In fact, we have 3 guys in this room who save lives all the time. And if you don't mind, I'm going to address Planet X. It's up there. It's about 150 million light years away. Yeah, Planet X, I know you're watching us right now, and you may be the most advanced planet in the universe, but you can't save lives like Eddie Elguera. No, you can't save lives like Christian Asoy. And who's the third guy? You can say it with me. You can't save lives like Dennis Martinez. Those guys save lives, and I'm proud to know them. But you know what? We're really talking about skating here. And as you would suspect, Planet X's skating is way, way beyond ours. Our tricks, they've got them all. And they soar through the air, they grind the hardest, they flip better than buttermilk pancakes. Planet X, you listen to me right now. I'm talking to you again. I'll admit you've beaten us at our own game. You may have bitten all our tricks, but you don't have shit in originality. You couldn't have done a jolly mambo or a woolly mammoth until you saw Neil Blender do it. I mean, you couldn't skate like a freaking cat until you saw Chris Miller do it. You couldn't have ollied onto a fire hydrant and spun around until you saw Natus do that, and you couldn't imagine the lines through downtown streets until you saw Mark Gonzalez do it. You couldn't do a 1080 until you saw 16-year-old little Mitchie Brusco do it in the X Games. You know? You couldn't even ollie until you saw Alan Gelfand do it. Yeah, and I could go on with Hawk and Cab and Christian, Mountain, and even Grosso and Lopes. That's right. Even Grosso and Lopes. Yeah, Lopes, Planet X, you couldn't skate barefoot until you saw Joe Lopes do that. So take that, Planet X. We are there. We were first, and I'm going to read that again. We were there first and rewrote the book. We wrote your book. But you know, Planet X is also the coolest planet. Now look at Hackett. In the universe. It's true. After all, they've watched all the other planets for thousands of years. They've got they do rockabilly better than the Japanese do rockabilly. They've got a factory that only makes 56 Porsche Spiders because their James Dean market is so crazy. They've been watching us, and girls, they do George Clooney better than George Clooney does George Clooney. It's crazy there. They're the Orange County of planets. But I can tell you straight up, you don't have the original Kings of Cool. No, you don't have Dave Hackett, the best role model of a perfect man I know. You don't have Steve Olson, who not only won the first Hester series, but came back 25 years later in a black leather jacket and a pair of goggles, spent the night in the back of an open pickup truck, and took out 100 hungry slalom racers in the La Costa Open. You don't have Steve Olson. He did that. And yeah, Planet X, you may be the coolest planet of the universe. I'll hand you that. But you don't have Dwayne fucking Peters. No, you don't. We have Dwayne Peters. We have the master of disaster. That's right. And come to think of it, you don't have me. And on that note, I thank you as I walk through the doors of the Skateboard Hall of Fame with my trophy. Thanks for voting. Thank you to my daughter Nina for making me look okay tonight. Dave Hackett, for Christ's sake, bring me my wood and get me off this stage and bring us back to earth. Thank you very much.
Give it up for Mr. Henry Hester. A great man. Bad H. Bad H. You're the man, dude. Wow, that was fantastic. Henry, what is in your drink? Right? You You girls doing okay? Yeah? Good. You look great. You look great. Lower back massage. Pammy needs a lower back massage later for any of you single guys out there. Okay. Huge congratulations to Henry. Thank you, Jack. Okay, as you know, I say this every year, the 70s was truly a most exciting and innovative and explosive decade of skateboarding. And right alongside the men, there were some truly gifted and talented women who were breaking boundaries and setting the bar high for all other women to follow.